Hi and welcome back. So this is the sewing part of the tutorial I last uploaded on how to cut and sew an inverted Queen Anne neckline. Now let's go ahead and start. These are the patterns that we just said earlier in our last tutorial. Now I'm going to use this pattern to cut on the main fabric. So this is what I have after cutting. This is the back pattern. As you can see, labeled the back. I added half an inch on the neckline, on the shoulder, the armhole, the bottom. This part is a zipper allowance. I did not add anything. I added 1.5 to 2 inches of sewing allowance to the side. This is the center front of the pattern. I added half an inch to the top. The center is on fold, as you can see. I added half an inch to the side and also at the bottom. For the yoke, I added half an inch all around the pattern. For the side front, I added about 2 inches to the side and every other part is just half an inch. Now these are all my patterns for this. I also went ahead to cut out lining pieces for each and every one of them. I have this interfacing which is known as paper stay. This is what I'll be using. You can use hair stay. Here I already ironed paper stay to all my pieces, including the lining pieces. I'll also be using this paper stay to pad the bustier because I do not have a wording right now. So if you have a wording, go ahead and use the wording to cut out the padding for the bustier. So what I did to this pattern is to notch the underbust area and notch the underbust area and also the bust points. Now these are the patterns. These are the front patterns for the bustier. This is what I'll be using to cut the pattern for the bustier. This line I'm cutting right now is the underbust line. Now I'll cut out from the underbust downward. I'll cut that off. This is what I'll be using for the center padding for the front. Now at the top here, I just trimmed off about half an inch, but you really don't have to do this. You really don't need to do this. Just skip this part. Now this is for the center. This is for the center. I'll go ahead and use my paper stay to cut out this pattern. I'll cut multiple layers because I would need it to be thick. So just go ahead and cut multiple layers of this paper stay. But if you are using a wording, one is enough or just two basically. Yes, you're going to be cutting the pattern for the other side, that is the side front. So what I did was to take the nipple to nipple measurement. I added 1 inch to that and I marked it at that point. So I went ahead to connect it with a curve to the underbust and I'll just cut it off this way. Then at the top, I also went ahead to cut off half an inch, which you don't have to do. So just go ahead and use this to cut on the paper stay. So like I said, you're going to be cutting multiple layers of this paper stay so that it is going to be thick. Now after cutting, you're going to go ahead and iron this to your fabric, your main fabric, like this. So go ahead and locate the notch on the underbust. Just make sure to start placing your wording on the notch at the underbust. Now iron this step by step. You're going to iron the first one before placing the second layer, just like that. Now this is what I have after ironing. You can go ahead and add more layers of paper stay to that center front so that I can have more thickness at the top there. And now it's time to join these pieces. So go ahead and place it nicely this way, making sure that the notches at the underbust and the bust points are aligning. Go ahead and pin it down and take it to the sewing machine to stitch on these two sides. Now you're still going to do the same thing for the lining. The notch at the underbust and the notch at the bust point has to align and you join it together. So this is what I have after joining. This is the main fabric. Now I'll go ahead and make notches and um iron it out. And this is the lining as well. This is the back pattern. What I did was to sew on the neckline with 1/2 inch. I also made a top stitch at the lining. This is what it looks like. I also went ahead to close down the zipper parts with 1/2 inch and also the sides with 1/2 inch. I did the same for the other pieces. Now I'm just going to turn this over. I did not stitch the armhole area and the lower part. So turn this out to the right side and give it a nice press. Do the same for the other back piece. This is the back piece after ironing it out. This is what it looks like. This is the other one. Now I will just go ahead and place it on each other, right sides facing each other, and I'll be closing the zipper part with 1 inch. While drafting, we added 1.5 inches for the zipper allowance. We already used half for turning, and the remaining 1 inch is going to be the space for the zipper. Now I went ahead to mark 1 inch from the top to the bottom of this, and I connected it with a straight line. Now I'm taking the dart, which is going to be 4 inches from that line, and I just made a notch here. Making this notch means that it is going to be showing on the other side because this is on fold. That is, both the back pieces are placed right sides facing. Now for the dart, the bust point is 10 inches. I just came down by 1 inch and I'm connecting it to this 4 inches dart line. And next I will take 1/2 inch on both sides of this line, which I'll be connecting to the apex of the middle line like this with a slant. Now I'll do the same for the other back piece and I'll take it to my sewing machine to stitch it down. Go ahead and stitch from the bottom to the top in a slant manner. So this is the front pieces after ironing. You can see that the bustier is standing nicely on its own like this. So I'll go ahead and place the lining over it. I've already ironed the both pieces. I'll place the lining over it and I'll work on the yoke. Now these are the yoke pieces. I went ahead to cut it out on fold. I cut out 2 pieces of it. Now what I will go ahead and do is to stitch down this slant edge. I'll stitch down this slant edge this way with just 1/2 inch, just the slant edge, and I will turn it over after pressing. This is the back. I have gone ahead to sew in the dart and closed the zip allowance side. This is how neat and beautiful it is looking. This is also the yoke. I've also gone ahead to iron it out this way and I'll be placing it to the front. So I'll pick the yoke pieces and I will just place the folded part this way, making sure that it is close to the dart line. Where that dart line is, I'm just going to place it very close to the dart line this way, just basically where they are meant to be. I'll go ahead and use pin to hold it down. Just make sure it's directly on that dart line. Now I'll use pin to hold it down. I will also do the same for the other one before using the lining pieces to cover it up. Now I will go ahead and pin this up this way. I'll align the lining pieces to the main fabric, making sure that the dart joinings are aligning. So align the lining, the joining on the lining and the one on the fabric, and use pin to pin it down. And after sewing, this is what it is going to look like. As you can see, after turning it turning over with the lining. This is how it's going to look like. You also go ahead and stitch down the sides as well before turning. So go ahead and iron, and this is what I have so far. Now I'm going to bring in the back pieces this way. I'll go ahead and place it over it, and I will just join them on the shoulders. So just go ahead and join them neatly on the shoulders with just half an inch. Just make sure to use the lining of the back to cover up um that's the yoke for the front, so that you can have a neat finishing. Then once you are done with that, you're going to join the sides with the allowances that is left. This is what it looks like after I am done fixing the sleeve. Just fix a basic sleeve to this. So this bustier is going to be attached to a lower part, that is to a skirt. Now this is what I have. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you. Go ahead and like this video so that YouTube can push it to more people that will want to watch. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.